Underneath Great Plains, when we issue a new customer or we bring up a customer, we bring up Aaron Fitz. So this particular customer, what I have done on this set of data is that I have Great Plains running here with the sample company. This is the World Online, what used to be the World Online, now called Fabricam. I've also replicated that into Business Central so that all the customers and vendors and all the GL codes are exactly the same. So what we do on one side, we can also do on the other. So inside here, we have a screen-based, and this is all screen-based. So everything inside GP, as you know, is screen-based. You open up a screen, you enter in your information, you put in your name, your address, give it an address code. One comment I will make is that if we're going to do a migration of your data and try and migrate your data as it is and move it across into Business Central, there are a few gotcha fields. One of them is this one right here. This one here is 15 characters inside GP, but is only 10 characters in Business Central. So if you've got anything that's longer than 10 characters, you can run into issues when it tries to truncate that down to 10 characters. We have some utilities that take a look at that, which we can run against your database. Again, we have certain information inside here about the customer. We then go to another screen, the options. We can see the percentage discount and things like that. So these types of pieces of information are all available inside there. Attached to each customer inside GP, we have GL codes. And these GL codes reside against the customer ID. And so each customer can have his own set of accounts. In Business Central, it is done through a posting group. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have a posting group that is equal to the customer, so that you could have as many posting groups as you would like, and so therefore you could generate the same kind of different GLs for each one. Most of the clients use a class, and those classes are what we convert over to the posting group inside Business Central. So once we've done that, we click on OK on that. We check all our options, our emails and things like that. We got additional addresses. And then we just hit save, and this saves the document. Anything that I do inside here does not get saved into the database until I hit save. Now, when I move over to Business Central, this is Business Central. So the core home page looks like this. And when we go into sales, and we click on customers here, and I'm just going to make that stay on the top there, and I'm going to go customers. There's my customer, and as you can see, there's Aaron Fitz. It gives you a list, much like a smart list. Gives you a list across here, which gives you some information. These can be changed, and you can add and subtract different fields, so you can default what you would like to see about a customer on a default field. There's also additional information about this. If I click it tells me how many ongoing sales orders, sales invoices, posted documents, etc. have I got. 104 GP receivable transactions, 85. This is in my history file that I've managed to migrate across. When I open up a customer, and I just click on the customer and it brings it up, it comes up with the standard information. Now, there's always a show more here. So when I click on the show more here, what happens is that we get additional fields. And you'll see inside here, I've got my credit limits listed here. I've got my total sales. This is anything that's gray is not editable. It's coming from the posting of the documents, so the balances and things like that. But you can block this, and you can make this ship all or ship partial, privacy blocked, etc. So this is what the general header of a customer looks like. As we move down and we go to the address and the contact, I can show more, which I will do so. So down inside here, I got address 1, address 2, same as you've got in GP. One thing I will mention is that the phone number inside Business Central is numeric only. So if you've entered any of your current customers as 604 123 12345 1234 X102 for extension 102, we need to go into that system and remove the X before we can use that as a number inside Business Central, because Business Central needs it numeric only. And you'll notice here it's got the extension listed at the end. Same thing on the fax number here. That's the extra zeros at the end of the 10 digits. So that is how it stores it. Contact names and things like that are also available. As we move down, we get into a lot more information than we may have in GP. You'll see on the side here, it shows you some of the defaults that have been set on these things without having to open them up. So I can tell here that this is a 2% 10 net zero net zero customer. I've got a shipping from the north site. Partial shipments are okay, and we use the overnight courier. So we can see this without opening them up. But as I open something like this invoicing one up, and I bring this up, it shows me this. And what I can see is I can see my GST or HST registration number. I'm in a Canadian company. You would have a tax number there if you had one. Tax liable, is it tax liable? What taxes is going to be assigned to this particular customer, and whether or not he's got any exemption numbers. Then we get into the posting groups, and these two posting groups is where we find our different pieces of information. So if I click on my customer posting group, which is the posting group that we're looking at, if I go show details, it comes up and it shows me that this is the receivable account. It also has a place inside here to add your payment discounts accounts, trade discounts accounts, invoice rounding, and things like that. So these particular tolerance percentages and stuff like that are all set against the customer posting card. Now, when I close this, if I go to the general posting account, and underneath my general, and I'll show details here. There it is there. And when I click on setup, what we have is this is the general posting account. And as I move across here, you'll notice that we've got a whole bunch of accounts for sales. We have some purchase accounts. We have some cost of goods accounts, as well as some vendor subscription and customer subscription accounts. So all of these accounts are set against the general posting account. We can then apply the general posting account to items or to customers, and then the one that merges together properly is the account that it will choose. That's how it selects the general ledger account inside Business Central. Let me just get out of here. So I can show less, and then it just shrinks the invoicing down a little, gives me a little less information. If I go into my payment side, it's fairly straightforward. I've got my 2% 10. I don't know why it says net zero. If I click on this and was to look at this, it probably should be net 30. Let's go show details. It got truncated. So there it is. It's a 30 days and things like that. And that is because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a 10-digit code where it's a 15-digit code inside GP. So it truncated it and moved it in one digit. So that's why we've got that. So it must have been a net 030. So that is what has happened on this particular one inside here. So we can go like that, but that's why it's not net 30. You can check your format date inside here. If I'm writing, this is also the check date separators. Some countries, Canada included, the banks have requested a specific format, and indicators have to be put on the check. In the United States, it is almost always MMDDYYY. In Europe and the rest of the world, it is DDMMYYY. And in Canada, it depends what province you're in as to which is the most common. Quebec tends to use the European method, whereas the rest of the country tends to use the American method. Okay, you can use a dash or a slash or whatever you wish. Underneath your shipping side, you've got a number of things inside here. You've got your ship to code. Ship to code is the same as a ship to address, and that ship to address, again, as I said, is 10 characters instead of 15. North is there, optional for the reserve and things like that. So that's kind of what a customer card looks like and where the accounts come from. There are some statistics underneath here as well. Let me just show you those. And that is basically showing you this is what you've done with this particular customer. This is the equivalent of the GP customer summary. So when you're in the inquiry screen inside here and you go into customer summary, you can get information inside here, as well as you can get information under receivable summary, which gives you this, as well as yearly and payment summaries and things like that. So you can see your different information that you need in order to calculate things like NSFs and things like that. This is all set right on the customer card or held on the customer card. So there it is. There I can show more. And if I show more, I get a few more fields on here, late payments and last payment and overdue payments. And it gives me a graph that's nice to look at, things like that.